Hello everybody, welcome to Planet FPL, the world where everything revolves around Euro 2020. Not even fantasy Euro 2020, just Euro 2020. Alright, boyo?
Why does it not revolve around fantasy at all?
Because it revolves more around the football than the fantasy game, that's why. So it's all Euros.
Oh yeah, a little bit of fantasy.
Anyway.
Yeah. What's your name?
Alright, boyo?
Yeah, alright, boyo. What's your name?
Suj.
My name's James.
Yeah, nice.
After saying yesterday, I can't forgive people who don't introduce themselves.
Another day of footy. Unexpected result, I would say, in the Finland Russia game. I didn't really think Russia would win that, but come on, Wales.
They were favourites.
They just didn't play
Wales
well.
were great.
I didn't get to watch the Wales game.
Really?
Yeah, work.
I was cracking, mate.
So yeah, work was in the way, but did get to manage to watch the Italians. And as we were talking earlier, so we were a bit late on the old work sweepstake yesterday. We only did it yesterday.
I weren't even here.
And Lisa realised I should make a list. She's like, I don't even know how we got like 44 people. We need to do 2 sweepstakes because 24 teams, right? And so I found out about 5:30 or 6 o'clock that I'd drawn Italy. Yes, get in there. Our boss gets Italy. Oh, cheeky. All right, and fix or what?
I've just seen my name on the wall. I've got fucking Scotland. Blinded.
It's all right, James.
I regret not backing Italy to win this tournament,
Now,
I think.
Watching the game last night, knowing that I'd just drawn them in the sweepstake was very, very satisfying. That's all I'm saying.
What's the winnings across on?
What's the winning?
What's the winnings?
25 quid.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Don't spend it all at once.
Yeah. And people haven't, it's not like everyone's sticking a quid away, just sold it 25 quid. So it's free money.
I won't be winning.
Let's talk about these games, shall we? Yesterday, or do you want to talk about the start to your limitless life?
Start to limitless life was limitless, basically. Insigne and Spinazzola for me, so I'm on 9. I'd captains Insigne. Captaincy obviously moves for me. I've gone Memphis Depay.
That's one that is one that scares me tonight is Memphis Depay because I don't have him. I went a little bit more heavy with the Italians. James had Donnarumma in goal and Spinazzola. I think everyone had Spinazzola. So that's 12 points there, nice and tidy. And I went with Immobile.
Nice.
So I captained him as well. 7. A goal and a shot outside the box. And obviously appearance point 7. So he's up to 14. This is annoying now. Because he needs, whoever comes in needs to get 2 returns to beat him. I've got the options of Mbappe, Harry Kane still ahead of me. I don't have the best captaincy options tonight, but Kane and Mbappe. So these are tricky ones. Like Mbappe could just score 1 goal.
I think 7, you move it on. I think, as I said, 2 attacking returns is what you'd want from first night, I think, to consider.
See, the thing is, I don't lose the 7 points. I still keep Immobile's points. I just don't get the captaincy points. It's not like, he completely goes to my bench. And then I have to remind myself that Mbappe is playing Hungary. And I think Mbappe, unless Harry Kane goes off against Scotland, I think Mbappe is where I'm finally going to end up with on captaincy. So I'm happy with that. Returns from all of them.
So you going today?
I'm not. I'm going to leave it on Immobile. I haven't got anyone today.
Don't leave it. If you've got anyone playing today,
yeah.
If you're going to move it anyway.
Yeah, I have to decide. So today I have Gini Wijnaldum, Dumfries, Yarmolenko, and a Belgian playing today.
Yeah.
Mounier.
You've got good options today, mate. What are you crying about? You've got options from all the 3 favourites playing today.
Yeah, true.
You've got to move it, mate. Don't leave
I quite like my limitless in the end. I did do it a bit lastminute.com.
Go on, tell us what you went with.
Donnarumma in goal.
Yeah.
And Larisa's back up.
Yeah.
It's tidy. My defence at the moment, Spinazzola, Alba, Dumfries.
It's just sounding familiar.
Mounier.
Yeah.
Hernandez.
Yeah.
And then in midfield, Yarmolenko, Wijnaldum, Sterling. And then I went with Modric over your Perisic.
I saw.
Why? What are you mad?
It's such a boring pick, Modric over Perisic. The
Who
thing
cares?
is, though,
Do you
I
remember
know how this goes. Modric is probably on the pens for Croatia. You'll get so fucking jammy.
It's not jammy. It's picking the main man. He's the captain. He takes a lot of the set pieces.
He's the main man, but he's not the main goal scoring man.
So it's fine if he picks up return, but he does score goals. He's completely capable. So I went Modric.
Okay, he's capable.
And I went Ferran Torres.
Yeah,
again,
okay.
attacking midfielder, but he's a midfielder, but he's playing as part of a front three. So I thought Ferran Torres is fine. I didn't know who else in Spain to go for.
Well, that's why I avoided the attacking ones, as I said.
So, but the thing is, I'm so happy with the others around it. I don't mind a punt at Ferran Torres. And then up top, Immobile, Harry Kane, Mbappe.
Okay, yeah,
I think the differentials between you and me is Meunier, Modric, Immobile and Torres.
Yeah.
Compared to you've got Depay.
And you've already got the clean sheet in goal. I got Pickford, haven't I?
Yeah, exactly. So Lloris I'm not bringing Lloris on the new.
No, you just
forget that.
You just leave that.
And then defensively, I'll see out of Alba, Dumfries, or Meunier. If one of them blanks, then Hernandez can come in. Sterling, Wijnaldum, Yarmolenko, Modric. One of them blanks. Ferran Torres comes in, and then whoever scored the least points, Mbappe is definitely coming in.
Do you think? So you're going to go with today? I'll edit that silence out of the audio.
Andrei Yarmolenko. Come on, you irons.
I don't mind that.
Andrei Yarmolenko.
I don't mind that.
Yeah, I've got to back my guy.
Okay. There's a couple of things we got cleared up which weren't overly clear in the rules yesterday of Euro Fantasy. So for those of us who played Limitless, I said to most people, I think we will have 2 free transfers going into Matchday 3. And some people think, is it going to be free? Because it had said in the rules you get 1 rolled over. But I assumed
when you play a chip, you lose that.
That's how it works in FPL. But there was a few people who seemed to think it would be free transfers. It is 2 free transfers for Matchday 3 for those who are on Limitless. And we've had some price changes.
I didn't know. I didn't know there was price changes.
There's nothing in the rules to say that it was going to happen or anything. But it looks like those who've performed particularly well in Matchday 1, basically when they reset the game, the price changes were there.
Are they little 0.1s and 0.2s, or are they?
There's 2 players who went up 0.2, who are Radicki, the Finnish goalkeeper, and Shah, the Czech forward.
Right.
Shah? Schick. Getting my Swiss and my Czechs mixed up.
Yeah.
Schick, the Czech forwards, had 0.2. A number of players who did well Matchday 1 had 0.1s go up, like Lukaku, for example. I don't think anybody lost value, though.
Okay. So we have to factor that into our decision making. Now, having said
you get the price that you sell, by the way.
Okay, so there's no half points.
So Radicki, for example, 4.0 is now 4.2. Presumably he'll stay at least that price now, and we sell him, it's 4.2.
Yeah, tidy. I think that makes sense to get rid of him for another 4.0, because you're not going to get a penalty save and a clean sheet out of him every other week, are you? So yeah, fine, okay. And then the thing is, obviously, once we get past the stages, your budget goes up, right? So past the group stages, your budget goes up. So these price rises mildly, almost, I wouldn't overly worry about them, because you are going to get a bit more budget in 2 games time now.
No, one of the issues you'll find, obviously, though, when you hit the knockout stages and you've got 105, it's the cheap players.
Yeah.
What cheap players do you go for? So there's obviously all these 4.5 million defenders. Are they still going to be there in the knockout stage? Okay, well, probably one of Dinea or Boyata will be. Spinazzola at 5.5, not that expensive. But look at the Limited team we picked. Those are the type of defenders we want, right? The Spinazzolas, the Meuniers, the Jordi Albas, etc. So you're going to have a more expensive bench, I think, in the knockout stage.
Finland Russia. So 1-0 Russia. They were the favourites. You're right. So whilst Joe Biden was having a nice little meeting with Putin, the Russian football team were doing all right. They beat Finland. When
our friend Poyanapalo, who I think I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, scored another tidy header 4 minutes in for Finland, I was feeling quite smug about tipping them up yesterday. Brilliant goal they scored. Obviously it was offside. It was the correct decision. This wasn't a great game of football. It's 2 poor teams.
On that offside, poor decision. Again, Italy scored had a disallowed goal as well with the offside, plus the goal disallowed in the France game. Was it Italy?
Chiellini handball.
Handball, sorry, yeah, handball. With VAR, basically. I mean, the two in the France game and stuff, they've all been sorted so quickly, so simply, no fuss, within a minute or so, game's carrying on.
Actually, I've got a gripe on this.
What?
Because I think, for the close calls, take the Mbappe ones against Germany, I think as soon as the check is going on, that should appear on the screen. Whereas what's happening at the moment, you get 3 or 4 replays. That's what also makes you feel like it's not taking so long. It shows so many replays of the goal, and then suddenly they're all back at the centre circle, and referee's got his fucking finger to his ear and stuff. And then from actual VAR check to the decision, that feels like it's not taking long. They're putting so long up to give the information there's actually a VAR check. So I'm not sure it's that much quicker. I think as soon as they're checking offside, those Mbappe goals, we said yesterday.
The thing is, they're checking. We know they're going to check it.
Do we though? Does the average armchair football fan know that it's being checked?
I'm not sure. I always know they're going to check it. Like even the Chiellini goal yesterday, I know they're going to check it.
I think with those the Mbappe goal and assist during the France games that were called out, I think they should be putting that up on the screen as soon as the man in the truck's going, yeah, I'm going to check this. I think it should be putting it up, VAR check, possible offside.
Yeah.
So people know.
But I mean, is it better than what's happening in the Premier League?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, that's my only point. My point is VAR can work and does work.
If VAR works on offside, then it's fine.
Yeah.
I keep saying that. It's the removal of the emotion of celebrating a goal, etc. Is the bit that you can't deal with, being told a minute after you've gone mental that the goal's going to be disallowed. That's what I can't deal with. Hopefully, by the time we get to Qatar, there will be something implemented where offsides are done by a manual automated system, basically.
So, back to the game then. Now, Russia on 3 points. Finland now also on 3 points. So, where do we go from here?
It was a brilliant result for Denmark, first and foremost, because that means that if Belgium beat Finland in the final game, any Denmark win, again, even if they get beat today, against Russia, will basically get them second place.
Right. Because
obviously Denmark lost 1-0 to Finland. Russia beat Finland 1-0. So unless Denmark beat Russia by 1-0, their head-to-head results, if they'll finish on 3 points, has to go to Denmark's favour on goals scored.
Right.
So if they win 2-1, 3-2, obviously anything higher, it'll be the head-to-head results. So Denmark, remarkably, still have a brilliant chance of finishing second, even if they get beat today.
Right, okay.
In fact, arguably, you'd still make them favourites to finish second if they get beat today, because this Russia team is up to nothing much. They did change system yesterday. Baranov moved from a midfield position to right-sided centre-back. There was a little bit of a Twitter gamble, I would say, on Mario Fernandes. Yep, that well-known Russian, Mario Fernandes, who moved forward from right back to right wing back. Must have been licking their lips. Obviously went off injured after 26 minutes and missed out on the clean sheet points. Miranchuk scored a brilliant goal. Had 5-10 minute spells in the game. You'd look at him and go, how's he not played the first game? This boy looks a talent. And then I'd spend the next 10 minutes, has he been subbed? Like looking for him, where was he and stuff. These are average. Watching Zuber up front is so uncomfortable. But he's such a unit. Don't get me wrong, he must be awful to play against if you're a centre-back. But it's awful to watch.
Yeah.
They're not great. Finland, listen, they've done really well to be here. They had a great result at the weekend. They've still got a great chance of getting out of the group. Pukki, for me, clearly is not 100%. He's obviously had injury towards the end of the season. Didn't have many minutes in the build-up to the competition. I can't see us looking at these two teams again, my friend.
Nope.
Personally. And I think Denmark will beat Russia in that final game.
Let's talk about Turkey 0, Wales 2. I think the majority of people expected Turkey not to be as bad as they were against Italy in the first game. And I thought Turkey would win. I also was tempted with Yilmaz on my Limitless, but didn't go with it in the end just because I didn't need to. There's better options available on Limitless. But in the end, Wales have come away with a tidy 2-0 win, giving themselves the best chance. They're qualifying now, aren't they?
Oh, you ain't going to go out on 4 points.
No. So, and Gareth Bale was a penalty miss away from a monster haul as well. 2 assists.
Still got 9 points.
Yeah, I mean,
you
9
get 2 points
decent.
for winning the pen, didn't you?
Yeah.
So won the pen, missed the pen, just cancels
plus
as 0.
Plus the 2 assists, plus the clean sheet. So he's done all right. There has Gareth Bale.
I know there was a few captained him yesterday, and I think that's borderline to just stick on that, actually.
Yeah, I thought you were about to say it's borderline insane to have Captain Bale, but not at all.
No, not at all.
Bale is Bale. He's proved his price now.
Gareth is capable of exploding, and to be honest, even if he'd have scored the penalty and been on, what would that have put him on, 14 points, you'd still make a case to he could have got more. He created 5 big chances in the match. Wales' XG was 3.7.
Like I said, I didn't get to watch. Why was it? So why were they so good, or were Turkey...
Turkey was shite, mate.
Really? Yeah. I hate when a team wins. I hate saying it's because the other team are bad. You've got to give them credit for beating what's in front of them. But did Wales show anything that means that you think they could be... well, they're not going to be a threat against Italy, are they?
Well, Italy might change the whole team.
Yeah.
They're through. Factually, they're through.
Yeah. But Wales beat them. They go top of the group and Italy go second. So you don't want that.
The interesting bit from a Welsh perspective as well, should they win the group, they'll play at Wembley. In the last 16.
Nice.
But even if they finish second, Wales are likely to play the team that finishes second in Group B, which is Belgium's group. So Denmark, Russia or Finland. There's nothing to fear. You could then be looking at a quarter-final perhaps with Holland. It's doable.
Netherlands.
All of a sudden, I'm sorry. The Netherlands. Sorry, that's 30 years of habit.
We'll get there.
So there's potential for them to push on and do quite well in this tournament.
Momentum. I think that was a good... Sometimes you scrap wins and you're like, oh, okay, at least we got over the line. I feel like this was a momentum-building win where you're like, you know what, we deserved and done well, and the feel-good around that victory is good.
Turkey were really disappointing. They had a lot of the ball. I mean, they had about 70% possession in the second half, but a lot of that was Wales setting traps for them, get James and Bale away on the counter-attack and stuff. That Wales were quite happy with that. I think the kickoff time helped Wales massively versus the other day because it basically started at night time. In Azerbaijan would have been 8 p.m. local time, which was very different to playing in the heat they had against Switzerland the other day. Seem to have greater energy about them. This Ramsey-Bale combination is something we saw a lot 5 years ago. And they're the two outstanding players, and at first opportunity, they do look for each other, which I don't think they have to apologise for. I think 3 of the chances that Bale created were for Ramsey. I mean, honestly, Bale could have got any sort of fucking return in this game. And Ramsey too, because he missed 2 golden chances before he scored the first goal. Brilliant running in behind. I mean, Turkey just couldn't deal with the off-the-ball running, basically.
Yeah.
Very good from Wales. They had big chances, and the penalty moment was comical. Did you see what happened immediately after the penalty miss?
No, I didn't.
I take it you've seen the penalty miss.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Wait, hang on. Is that the ball coming in? I'm waiting for it to drop from the sky in the middle of the pod at some point.
From the goal kick, the Turkish goalkeeper, Kekir, plays it out. It comes back to him, and Bale goes to close him down, and Bale gets the block on it, and it goes about that far wide. Literally, the immediate incident after the penalty. So, I mean...
Is that a big chance? No, I don't think that would be down to... But that wouldn't be a big chance, would it?
I guess that would score quite high on XG, because technically it's going towards goal from 10 yards or so. They didn't take the most of some of the opportunities they had on the break. I saw our friend FPL Tips ask Siri the meaning of crapid. Put up a picture of Daniel James. It does feel like that word was perhaps invented for him. He had 1 breakaway and he had 3 men over and he lifted the ball. He didn't need to. Just roll it into the box. Really good. Even at the death, you think Robbie Savage, I called it, not this time. He's screaming at him, keep the ball in the corner, keep the ball in the corner. Bale's not having it, is he? He's off. Quite how Connor Roberts was in the box to finish it off in the 94th minute or so when they were 1-0 up, coming up from right back. I'm not sure, but he was there, he'd done the business. They thoroughly deserved to win. It was a really good watch. The game had high energy to it. Quality in terms of top level, it's a little bit below that. But it really could open up the draw for Wales, actually.
Nice. There are loads of things that I want to tweet and then just decide I'm not going to bother tweeting them. They're not controversial things or anything. It's just, you know what, I'm not one of those people that feels like every thought in my head needs to be verbalised or put down on Twitter. But by half-time in the Italy game yesterday, my tweet said exactly this. On Monday's podcast, James and I both agreed that Italy were an outstanding team. James said they could go all the way. I disagreed. I was wrong. James was right. After that first half, I am completely in agreement with you that this team can win the entire tournament. I felt like if they came across a big, strong defence, I thought they might not be able to score enough goals. But, oh man, everything about the performance. They lose the ball, they hunt it down. That midfield, Barelli and Jorginho. And Jorginho looks like a better player for Italy than Chelsea. He does. The front three, the weakest link for me is Berardi. He's a little bit, but Immobile, like, it's funny because I captained Immobile all the way through, even till the 85th minute. I did feel like he was going to score. Like, he was always there or thereabouts. I feel like he's one of those strikers that it doesn't matter when, he can score at any time. I still had confidence, despite the game petering off, that he could score. They lost Chiellini, still defensively solid. Donnarumma had to make a couple of saves, but yeah, everything about their performance was class. And actually, by 75 minutes, like I was saying earlier to you off air, I'd got on board. I was like, I get the joke now. I get the point of this. I've seen it. I get it. I don't need to watch the rest because I know how this movie ends. That kind of mindset, because they were just that good and consistent, and the level didn't drop off from minute 1 to minute 90 either. So impressive.
I think I'm in love with them.
Yeah.
Honestly, I could watch them all day. I can't remember an Italian team that's infused me so much in terms of the way they play.
Because normally intensity. They're so slow and boring. No, maybe that's a harsh.
I think it's a stereotypical kind of label.
Slow build-up.
It's because they are always so good defensively. Just why I think we get them labelled with that. This team plays at 100 mile an hour. They're brilliant.
They're moving the ball just
rapid.
Tight. There's always 2 or 3 options. As soon as they lose the ball, they get it. I mean, Spain the other day hunted the ball back so well in packs, but Italy are just as good at doing it. Oh man. They could go all the way, no doubt about it. And the thing that I think, when you come across a France or a Portugal or even England who are good teams, it's not always necessarily just quality, but it's the unity of the team and the teamwork and the way they work together as an 11. And I think that's what they have that some of the other sides with talent maybe don't have.
If you're wondering, Italy and France win their groups, they would meet in the semi-finals. I really think they could go on and win this. The only caution is they've played 2 very average teams, in my opinion. 2 teams who could go out.
But they spanked them 3-0 each.
I wouldn't say they're bad teams, Turkey and Switzerland. But they are average. They're your typical average. They're going to be borderline whether they make the last 16 of this or not. Probably not go any further. Yeah. That's generally what they are.
I agree with you, but they didn't. They battered them 3-0 each.
Well, we said yesterday. When I was talking about going for Immobile or not, one of the things that, does anyone really batter Switzerland? Doesn't really happen. I'd kind of said 1-2-0. They could have had more than 3.
Comfortably, yeah.
They've obviously lost Chiellini, those who gambled on him were probably counting their 12 points at the moment he scored, only to find out it was a 1-pointer about 5 minutes later. Very unfortunate.
It did, but sometimes you pull your hammy and you're flat out. He was still walking off, and it didn't look like someone who just pulled his hamstring or done something.
His age, you probably knows though, don't he?
Yeah.
So there's every chance he'll be out for the tournament, quite possibly.
Do you think so?
Yeah. So Francesco Cherby, Lazio defender, is quite highly rated. I spoke about him quite a bit when we did the Watch List podcast last Thursday. It's 5 million. And this is the sort of one when you go into the knockout stage, Italian 5.0. So I can see a lot of people, if obviously Chiellini's going to be out, you double defensive Italian, Spinazzola, Cherby. They're now 30 games unbeaten, I think.
I think the record is 30, so they need one more game to be 30 games unbeaten. 10 clean sheets in a row, mate.
I think it's 31 goals scored without reply.
Yeah, 10 clean sheets in a row, right? Yeah. No joke.
They're in serious form. And stylistically yesterday, something different to the Turkey game. So what we saw, and again it happened last night with Spinazzola obviously really pushing on from the left-back position. Locatelli's position, it seems fairly obvious. He obviously scored twice. was very different to how they played in the Turkey game. So basically, the first 5 minutes, I don't know if anybody else or you had this feeling, was Switzerland started really well for a couple of minutes. The two wing-backs, Mbabu and Ricardo Rodriguez, the former manager of Wrestler Alberto Del Rio, were really high up the pitch. I don't know if you'll get that link, but anyway. Alberto! The two wing-backs got really high. And the first time Switzerland attacked, both wing-backs were right at the top of the pitch. The front three had kind of come in narrow, and I thought, having a bit of a go here. Maybe I've got this wrong about Italy. And it was literally like Italy spent 5 minutes looking at them, working them out, and then going, okay, now we go. So what they did very differently to the Turkey game was Turkey played basically a 4-1-4-1 with Yokşulu plays a lot deeper in the pivot. Switzerland obviously played with two. They played with Xhaka, nice hair, not, and Freuler. Yeah, and Freuler. Now, Freuler had to say a nightmare would be a little bit harsh. He spent the game basically just chasing around after Locatelli. Yeah. But what they did differently in this game last night was Locatelli and Barella. I spoke last week a lot, on Monday, a lot about Barella. That pass they were constantly trying to find. Which he didn't look for it so much last night because Locatelli and Barella were both going in to press the two holding midfield players. And they just had nowhere to go. It's easy to say, Switzerland didn't kick the ball that well. Actually, look at the statistics. Switzerland had more of the ball through the game. I think a lot of that is in the last 15 minutes or so, Italy went to a 5-3-2, which is interesting to look at that system once the game was won at 2-0 and just invited pressure. I think to literally see how they dealt with that.
They were almost, you talked about springing traps with the Welsh. Italy was similar, right? Just let Switzerland come in and then spring the trap, off we go, and bang, still they were able to threaten.
So the way Locatelli and Barella plays, I would think, on what I've seen in the two games, is quite dependent on whether the opposition is playing with one in the pivot or with two.
Right.
Most of the teams they're going to face probably have two. Interestingly, if and when they played France in a semi-final, which right now I feel difficult not to envisage one of those two teams winning this competition, I think they will go and press them man-to-man in midfield. And I just think the game will be so much fun and fire.
Looking forward to it. We wouldn't meet them until the final. If we win our group, they win our group, right?
Yeah, so
good, thank God.
But this is it, right? It's all well and good. You could, it's all well and good. We finished second in the group, right? England finished second in the group. We're going to go on the side of France and Italy, probably. I'll have one of them bastards in the final, and we'll have a 1-3 shot at it at Wembley, right?
Exactly.
Because I think every other team in this competition right now, I feel like on a one-off game,
we could be. Yeah,
we could be.
I agree with you.
I don't.
These two, no chance.
We can,
but we have to have our best day. They have to have an off day kind of situation.
Put it this way: if we go onto their side of the draw, we have to beat both of them to get to the final. Yeah. So all this about finishing second in groups is going to be easier. That France and Italy are the two teams I don't really want to play. Anybody else, I'm not too fussy about actually. So yeah, we want to win the group, mate.
Yeah, agree with you.
On Berardi, I agree with you to the extent we say a little bit weak link. There's a certain. It reminds me of Lamella a bit.
Right.
That kind of cutting in, overdoing it a little bit sometimes, a little bit erratic with his shooting. He is going to get returns automatically because he plays in a front three for Italy. And again,
it's cheap, 6.5.
In that knockout stage in Euro Fantasy where we're probably having to pay for a Cherby's rather than 4.5s, he's almost going to be like an auto pick if he's still in the team, isn't he?
Yep.
Just to notice, as I said, they finished that game with that 5-3-2, and I don't know if they're going to do that to invite a bit of pressure late in games, or if maybe even if they play to France, they would go with that, go 5-3-2. They can still have the 3 versus 3 in midfield, and then they would probably play Immobile up front with Insigne in a more central position, which would obviously mean Berardi coming out of the team. Something perhaps to be cautious of. Turkey and Switzerland could well go out. Switzerland, obviously, if they win against Turkey on Sunday, will finish on 4 points, which should be enough. For Turkey, even winning's probably not going to be enough because of, they're starting this with -5 goal difference. I think Albania, with a team that just missed out in the last Euros, finished on 3 points and they had a -2 goal difference. So difficult to see how Turkey would need another couple of groups with the situation of what's happening in this group. You could almost look at it already and go, the 3 teams in Group B, from that result yesterday, whoever finishes third is going to have a better record than than Turkey should they finish third in Group A. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So for everybody else to finish third as well, I mean, a Turkey winning that final, or obviously a draw, would be a great result for those teams letting for third. And because they'll go first as well, Turkey, they wouldn't even know, okay, you've got to win 5-0. They wouldn't even know what's enough or not to put themselves in that position. On what I saw last night, I'm not convinced that Switzerland would even beat them.
Yeah. We'll see. We will see.
But it depends what mood Turkey are in.
Well, they know they need to win, right? It makes a big difference when you know what result you need in kind of tournament football. So we now have 3 games today. Ukraine, North Macedonia. Ukraine win, you're pretty sure on? You'd think.
Yes, routine-ish, 2-0.
2-0, kind of thing.
You would think Macedonia will go and play with freedom and give them a game. It should be a decent watch. Based on what we saw from Ukraine on Sunday night against Holland, I'm quite looking forward to see how they play, because they pass between the lines quite well, but they'll find that more difficult in a game like this, you would think. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. But yeah, I would expect them to win.
Then the next game after that, Denmark, Belgium. Obviously going to be a very interesting watch with everything that happened on Saturday.
Do we all really want Denmark to win? Because that's how I feel.
Yeah.
We've got to, haven't we?
Yeah.
It's not a slight on Belgium or anything. I want them to do well.
I want them to be okay, like play with freedom and play as a team and not have any psychological kind of down.
I think for the mental state of the players as well, if they win today, that's it's such a hurdle to clear, just from an emotional or mental aspect of what they would have gone through. To go, okay, we're a team again. Everything I've heard in the last 48 hours or so speaks like really highly of the team collective amongst. I mean, it must have an amazing team spirit considering how they reacted on Saturday. In any case, you'd have to make Belgium favourites now, because I think Denmark with Eriksen and without Eriksen are two very different teams.
Correct.
So you would definitely fancy Belgium to win. But I'd love it if Denmark could win the game. Would be great.
And Netherlands versus Austria. Netherlands win there, I see, comfortably.
Yeah. And
what's the crack with...
might be quite a few goals in that as well. I could see that being sort of 3-0, 3-1 or so again.
What's the crack with Marko Arnautovic? Has he been banned?
One game ban.
Right, okay, because of making some political statements.
One game ban. I mean, depending on what you read, differs on what the translation is of supposedly what he said and how bad it was.
So did they lip read it or whatever?
I don't know, but
fine.
For him to get a 1 game ban, there's obviously a concession that what he said wasn't great.
Right.
I mean, he's not got a 1 game ban for saying fuck off, has he?
No.
It's obviously something worse than that. No action to be taken on Antonio Rudiger on the potential bite.
But Pogba didn't complain, did he?
We did go, Yeah. And no action to be taken against Pogba either, who quite daftly after the game went into the stands to give someone his shirt. COVID bubble.
Okay, I understand. And then, that's probably a fair, do it in a COVID safe way, hand sanitize the shirt before you.
I just don't think we could really give your shirt to someone in the crowd at the moment, unfortunately.
It's the you don't think in the heat of the moment, but come on,
you know that when we're all back at stadiums next year, you get these little kids, didn't you? Oh, Kane, can I have your shirt? Do you want my shit, mate?
There we go. Another great day of football to look forward to. This tournament is actually playing out very, very nicely. I'm quite enjoying it. So, yeah, decent,
bubbling under the surface. I think what's really helped most people's viewing of the tournament has been crowds.
Yes.
It's just felt new. Like I said, watching that Hungary the other day with full crowd and stuff, and thinking, this feels like a proper football match now. I think having crowds in has made a massive difference to people's psyche of what these games are like. And I think it's leading to better tempo games as well. As Bale was speaking after the game yesterday, saying that the amount of Turkish fans in the ground helped them massive, just because the noise they made it made them, when they were winning 1-0 and they were ceding possession and all that, it helps psychologically as well. You might think, you're under pressure. Remember in Azerbaijan as well, it's like fucking Stratford, mate, about 3 miles from the pitch, aren't they? However, I would quite happily just watch Italy on loop every fucking day at the moment. I'm so impressed with them.
Correct. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's Daily Dose of Euro 2020. We'll be recording for our patrons today, Tot and Ham, We're just sitting here waiting like muppets for Tottenham to release Fonseca as their manager, so James can tell us all about.
Can't release him until you've appointed him.
Release the news. Release the
3
news.
months they might release him.
Sorry, yeah, we'll just catch up on Moisey signed his contract and so on and so on. Plus a little look at the fixtures and what we're thinking on those as well. So if you're interested in becoming a Patreon, patreon.com/Planet FPL. Nearly 400 people in our Slack community. It's good crack at the moment.
Before we finish, because you don't check Twitter much.
Oh yeah, I did last night a little bit.
There's a lot of love for you yesterday online.
There was,
mate.
and I really massively appreciate it. I did want to start today's pod by saying there's no rant. Sorry. But look, yeah, we just got to stand behind the boys. It's interesting. We're in London. I just want to support the team. It's raining now, mate. It's all a bit wet and muggy, and it's very English outside. So tomorrow's game against Scotland is going to be completely...
if you're watching on YouTube and you thought my shirt was two-toned, it's not. I just got drenched on the way out.
But yeah, to people that are showing the sport, we crossed over 25,000 followers on Twitter. James had a chocolate croissant this morning. You would have seen
5k YouTube subs as well.
Oh, nice. We're getting there slowly and surely. We're not quite up there with some of the big boys, but we do our best.
I can see Andy in the background.
Yeah, foreground somewhere. And Andy will be on later on this summer with all of the content that we have on. So looking
Andy
forward
from
to catching
Let's
up.
Talk FPL.
Indeed. Everybody stay safe. Look after yourselves. Keep enjoying the football. Ciao for now.
Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the football. Cue music, please, man child.